This is True Grit and Red Dirt Country, brought to you week in and week out by the following sponsors: Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott, 2812 South 4th Street, Chickasha, Oklahoma. CSMlocal. Visit them today at CSMlocal.com and get things from to-do to done today. Also, Custom Graphics, 521 North Main Street, Altus. Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. 2 locations in Altus to serve you, 2500 North Main and 1401 North Main Street, Suite 103. And we also have locations all the way through Highway 62 and the I-44 Turnpike in Lawton, Chickasha, Duncan, and Wichita Falls. And welcoming aboard Viridian Coffee Company with locations in Duncan, Chickasha, and Lawton. Viridian Coffee Company is fantastic. They have the Cowboy Brew, which is definitely one of my favorites, and I'm pretty sure when my buddy right here, Selby Smith, gets a hold of some of that Cowboy Brew, he's going to like it too. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for being on the show today. And I had your buddy John on here last week, but I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to talk to me about not only the Indian Territory regulators, but a lot of other cool factual information that the listeners will definitely want to know about, especially us country folks and folks down here that know about the life and the culture. So tell us a little bit, some background about how the Indian Territory regulators started and where it stemmed from. It's very cool information.
Well, originally it was a part of a group known as Colonel Colts that had been going for quite a few years before I joined. And I joined in 85 is when I started training. And then I worked at Frontier City on the weekend from 85 to 88. And then the Colonel Colts Company picked up the contract down at Turner Falls. We broke up the units, and those that could work during the week and everything, they were set at Frontier City. We had to make a sister unit, which was the Indian Territory Regulators, and we did Turner Falls. And I've been with them until the man who retired was named Jim Rollins. We called him Pappy, and he'd been gunfighting since 1958 out at Frontier City, and he was a marshal out there for several years. And so we kind of faded out there, and then I gunfought with some other groups, and then I decided with a couple of my friends and everything else, we'd start our own group. So I went and got the name Indian Territory Regulators rights and everything, I guess you could say that, from Pappy, and I have been trying to do the style of gunfighting that I was taught.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and it really got into a lot of things. I mean, it took me into more than just gunfighting. I started Civil Warring and Mountain Men Rendezvous, and I found out that I really enjoyed a lot of the history behind these things by doing them that you could sit and read about but never really experience.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, there was things that you read about this in, like, say, in history in high school, but you don't actually see the other things that went on. They could tell you about it, different style of living that they went through. And when you're doing these reenactments, you actually live the history. And I was not a very big history buff whenever I was in high school. But since then, I have really kind of sunk myself in history, and I still learn things to this day.
Wow, Selby, that is totally awesome, sir. And I appreciate your history enthusiasm, because I'm a history enthusiast too. And we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more elements of the Indian Territory Regulators, as well as some Oklahoma history. You're listening to 98.7, the Red Dirt Rebel, and this is True Grit and Red Dirt Country. We'll be right back.
Wade Hayes in concert. Outdoors at Legends Event Park. Friday night, June 4th, Chickasha eats up with the one and only Wade Hayes. Plus, in the same night, Ricochet. You get it all for one ticket. Available at Ticket Store. Friday, June 4th. Brought to you by Legends Pub House and Venue.
And we're back with True Grit and Red Dirt Country right here on the flagship station, 98.7 Red Dirt Rebel. Thank you very much, sponsors. Viridian Coffee, Legends Pub House and Venue, Billy Bob's Texas, Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, CSMlocal, and Custom Graphics. Thank you very much, Lauren and Meryl Aarons, for your continued support. Selby, you are a reenactor, and tell us about how that life kind of changes you and puts you in a certain frame of thought. You got to kind of dive in, don't you?
My favorite part about it is talking to the people about history. And there's like the old mountain man saying, if I don't know about it, I'll make it up. And it's fun. I mean, because if you're doing a mountain man rendezvous, it's called doing a windy, telling a tall tale.
Okay.
But you'll be surprised that the experience was very, very real to me, because I'd sleep in a tent. I'd cook over an open fire. I'd wear the clothes from back then. And whenever you're doing that, you seem to fall back. And the more you fall back, the more you want to learn.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And being a reenactor is a lifestyle in its own. You look forward to doing things. And to me, it's very, very relaxing. It gets me away from the hard parts of my life and everything else, the stress of working, the stress of just about everyday life that people go through. Well, whenever you go to these rendezvous and everything else, all that's left behind. And then whenever you go back home, you're looking at everything at kind of like at a fresh start there, and you're just kind of, I can do that. And that's how I look at doing this kind of stuff. I've got 3 children who, they grew up doing rendezvous and gunfighting, and of course now they're older and out of the house and have families of their own. They don't participate as much as they used to. My oldest was in the Navy, so he kind of faded on that. And my middle son, he works quite a bit and he enjoys his job. So, and he usually ends up having to work on the weekend. And my youngest right now, his biggest thing is he's trying to spend more time with his studies and everything, because he wants to join the military.
Okay.
So,
well, you tell your boys, that especially one in the Navy, thank you for his service, and your youngest one for wanting to get in the service. Yes, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah, and being a reenactor, you have to kind of love that kind of life and enjoy it. And it's been a love of mine for a little over 34 years now. And if anybody wants to kind of see what we do as far as gunfighters, you can find us on Facebook. We have some of our shows posted there, and that gives you kind of an idea of what we do as gunfighters.
So Indian Territory Regulators on Facebook. Okay, cool. So write that down, folks. Go visit it right now and like that page. Good stuff there.
And one of the things I've learned doing all this thing is there are so many historical forts in this state that I can name 2. Fort Washita, which is down by, I can't even think of the lake right now, but it's the largest lake down on the border. Then you have Fort Reno up here just west of El Reno itself, and that was pretty good. It was what they call a remount station, and I didn't know it, but during President Kennedy's funeral procession, some of the horses that were in that came from Fort Reno. I mean, there's more than just the history of, say, the Old West and everything of the 1880s. There are things that even go up into World War I and World War II that I hope people would like to look these things and see what they are and find more about our state.
I encourage everybody to do yourselves a favor. Go ahead and get your devices and like Indian Territory Regulators. on Facebook, and you'll learn about what the Indian Territory regulators do. And Mr. Selby is going to be back on the show to talk about more historical things going on in the state of Oklahoma that you did not cover in your classroom books. And I've learned quite a bit today just talking to you for this short amount of time. And Selby, I want to thank you very much for being on True Grit and Red Dirt Country, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Well, I look forward to talking to you. So I want everybody to have a good day, and y'all be safe out there.
Well, all right, then we're going to take another break, and we're going to check out some good music from Miranda Lambert and also some Coulter Wall. We'll be right back. You're listening to True Grit, Red Dirt Country, right here on 98.7, the Red Dirt Rebel.
Wade Hayes in concert. Outdoors at Legends Event Park. Friday night, June 4th, Chickasha heats up with the one and only Wade Hayes. Plus, in the same night, Ricochet. You get it all for one ticket. Available at Ticket Store. Friday, June 4th. Brought to you by Legends Pub House and Venue.